You wanna know what I think? I think that, oh, she always just is such an attention seeker. You wanna know what I think? I think that most homes are actually not lacking in style, or the homeowners are not lacking the ability to style them. I think that what really happens when people are discontent with their homes is that they're missing out on some very intentional and very specific style points that might be getting overlooked. So today I'm gonna share 10 very simple upgrades that I've used in my own home to take it from basic or builder grade to custom without full makeovers or renovations. Now, one of the fastest and my most favorite ways to completely transform the look of a room is with lighting. Most people will design a room and then add lighting last, but I think that if you really want to set the tone for a space, you should be thinking lighting first. A builder grade light or a fan are usually pretty big giveaways that somebody has moved into a home and then just lived there. If you want it to feel more reflective of your personality, swap out the light fixtures. I personally like to mix materials in my home. A lot of my lighting is glass globes, but I also have wood and I also have like a paper mache unexpected material. And so don't be afraid to go for the ones that are a little bit odd and not quite standard, because that's kind of the point of swapping out the lighting. And in most cases, go a little bit bigger than you would think you need to, and it will really help set the tone for the room. Now, my friends, I am begging you, if you are content with your home the way that it is, if you love it, if you are absolutely at peace in your home, just watch this video without any kind of pressure, because I don't ever want to present these design tips and say this is the only way, because it's not. That's the beauty of interior design, is that there are so many different ways for people to take an idea and implement it that makes sense for them rather than make sense for the masses. And so I just have to put that little caveat in here, because I don't ever want to be the person who's like, you have to do A and B in order to get to C, and there's no other way, because there's a whole alphabet out there. Another really easy and sometimes, but not always, budget-friendly swap is to update your cabinet hardware. And I say not always because sometimes cabinet hardware is stinking expensive. So you do need to make sure that you're ready for the investment, but I would recommend that you take it, because it is an investment to pay a little bit more for a high quality metal finish on your hardware, because otherwise, if you go for the really cheap stuff, you're going to notice wear and tear on the specific parts of the handles and the knobs that you're touching every single day. And so if you're going to be replacing it in a year or two, you may as well spend the money up front to get a good quality metal. Now, when we're talking hardware, we're saying cabinet hardware in your kitchen, vanities in your bathroom, your doorknobs, your hardware on just your random hutches that you have around. All of these things can really be swapped very quickly. Nightstands, I mean, literally any piece of furniture that has hardware on it, you can swap it to be more in line with your style or with the style of your home. And I would recommend kind of sticking to 2 different metal finishes and then carrying them throughout your entire space. Now, if you have time at the end of the video, I'm gonna be sharing 3 things that do not make your home feel custom. It's the opposite of what the intention of this video is, but they're worth saying. So stay tuned for that. The third most impactful way, one of my favorite ways, and one of the ways that I want to do more in this current home, is adding wall molding. This architectural detail will elevate the look of your home incredibly fast. Now, wall molding gives you really instant architecture, and it doesn't need to be super elaborate in order to make a statement. And if you're not one who loves really intricate wall molding or ornate details, then I would recommend just doing some subtle box molding or some vertical shiplap, which is a pretty modern version, and then paint it all the same color, and that way it kind of blends into the background without it feeling too in your face. Now, a lot of the things that we've been talking about are very visually based, things that you're seeing from the outside looking in. But one of the most important things that we can do in our own homes is just create spaces that serve a purpose, they function well, and they're really comfortable. And so I want to thank Mommesilk for sponsoring a portion of today's video. I have had their pajamas and their robe and these beautiful silk pillowcases for quite a few weeks now, and I can testify that this has elevated my sleep significantly. Now, a lot of people know that a silk pillowcase is really good for your skin and your hair, and I can definitely tell a difference with my hair specifically, that I haven't had as many flyaways sleeping on a silk pillowcase. But what I really have loved about these ones is they're 22 Mommesilk, and that is a unit of measurement for silk if you're unfamiliar. But these ones actually have a zipper enclosure, and that has made the biggest difference because silk is obviously a little bit slippery. And if you don't have the zipper, the pillow can so easily just slip out throughout the night, and then it's really a pain, let's be honest. And so I have loved these pillowcases, and I actually got one for myself, and my husband was like, well, where's mine? So I got one for him too. In addition, silk contains 18 amino acids, which is like a natural skincare product. So it's not going to absorb your expensive skincare products that you're applying before bed. It's going to help maintain that entire routine. Now, I mentioned that I also got the silk robe. This is like luxury for your body. So Mother's Day is on the horizon, and if you are looking for a really great gift, I would definitely recommend their pajama sets for mom, the beautiful robe, I love the detailing on it, and the pillowcases, because honestly, the combination is what makes your sleep much better. Now, obviously, I'm not in my PJs right now, but I just kind of wanted to show you the length and the fit of this glorious robe. It's so comfortable. It's going to be perfect for the warmer months too. Now you can use code GSpace20 for 20% off of your order. I will link up for you the products that I have in the description, and you can also use the code GSpace25 for 25% off orders of $199 or more. So make sure to check it out, linked up for you in the description. Now, the textiles that you're putting on your bedding, on your pillowcases, on your throw blankets, all of these things really play into getting that custom feel for your home, but you want to also take that textural element and translate it into your living room baskets and the wood coffee table that you're using. Adding these textural elements like linen and wood and wicker and wool, all of these things that play into the smaller pieces of decor in your house really help a room stay cozy and cohesive and not fall flat, especially if you prefer a neutral home and so you don't have a lot of interest with color. The long and short of it is that texture equals depth without the clutter. Now we're halfway through, the best is yet to come, honestly, but I'm curious, so far, what would you do in your home if you were gonna pick one of these 5 items that I've already shared? I personally always think that lighting and curtains can make the biggest difference, but it's not probably true for every home. And so I'm curious, drop it in the comments, what would you do first? Now, one of the things that I see people most often leaning towards is really small decor and really small wall hangings. And while I fully believe that that can be done and can be done well, it tends to feel cluttered if you haven't arranged it in a proper scale and balance with the rest of the room. So if you have a home where you've put lots of little art pieces on the wall, or you have lots of trinkets everywhere and you feel overwhelmed by it, then my biggest recommendation would be to pare down some of those pieces and go with larger scale artwork or larger scale arrangements on a coffee table or in a hutch, and start to think in balancing the scale of your room rather than just adding little tchotchkes here and there that are gonna make the space feel more cluttered. And with that said, if you have a favorite collection and they're all really small pieces, then the way to make that work with the scale of a room is to bring your entire collection together and display it as one art piece, and that way you can have lots of little things, but they feel more in balance with the room because of the way that you've styled them. Now let's talk window treatments. I am actually going to do an entire video on window treatments here in the coming weeks, talking about the right way to do it, essentially. So here's a little preview. The main concepts for hanging drapes or curtains is to hang them high and wide, especially if you're working with lower ceilings or small windows. If you're putting your curtain rod right at the same height as your trim, then it's going to shrink the height of your room unless it's a necessity. But on the flip side, if you have really tall ceilings, we're talking like 12 feet or higher, then you don't want to bring that curtain rod all the way to the ceiling because obviously that will look really unnatural. Now in this room, I have 9-foot ceilings, so they're not even super tall. But I have my curtain rod about 1.5 feet above the window, and that's a really good balance. They're not all the way to the ceiling, but they're pretty close. And I would say that this is a good measurement if you have ceilings that are 10 feet and above. Now, one of the biggest visual elements of any home are our doors. And doors really tell a story about the era that your home was built in, as well as your style preference. So if you have dated doors, I would highly recommend either swapping them if it makes sense, like if they're hollow core doors, they're cheap, they're damaged, the veneer is coming off, and they need a replacement, then swap them for a high quality door. And then you can choose if you're going to stain or paint. If they're in good shape and a good quality door, then just update them with a visual change. You can actually just add molding to a door to make it into the architectural style that you like, but if you like the door as it is, swapping it with a new paint color can actually work wonders as well. I would just recommend using the same interior color on all of your interior doors and then coordinate it with your trim. And just like our hardware for the doorknobs, if your hinges are an out-of-date color or they don't match the rest of the metals in your home, that's a great time to swap those two. Now, faucets and plumbing fixtures in general can also really date a home to a specific time period. We have the honey oak of the 90s. Well, brass, shiny brass, was also of the 90s, and it's pretty clear what era your home was built in based on the color of your plumbing fixtures. And if those are not in line with your style, then it's a really easy swap. I would just recommend that you keep your metal colors in line with your hardware colors throughout. I do like to mix metal tones though. I usually prefer to do my plumbing fixtures in one color and my knobs and my cabinet pulls in a second color, and then keep those two colors throughout the whole home. And I like to go with a cool and a warm tone, so we'll do polished nickel with a beautiful antique brass, and then you have a cool tone, you have a warm tone, and they complement each other really well. There's lots of varieties of combinations that you can do if you like to mix metals, and I will link up a couple of blog posts for you in the description that gives you a lot more detail on that. Now, one thing that's really common in the majority of homes that are not custom built are rooms that are boxes, a basic square or rectangle that you have to infuse character into. And one of the best and easiest ways to do that is with some custom built-ins. You can do this without a ton of carpentry experience, but if you want a really elaborate look, it might be worth looking into a professional. I usually start with a stock cabinet or an IKEA cabinet, and then you add customizations to give it more of an upscale and custom look. If you already have built-ins in your home, but they're not quite what you would envision for your space, there's a few ways that you can upgrade those with simple additions of molding, a fresh paint job, or even just extending the cabinets to the ceiling if they're not all the way up and it makes sense to do so. It doesn't always make sense to do so, just so you're aware. A lot of people right now are saying that you have to have your cabinets go all the way to the ceiling. It doesn't always make sense, especially in a kitchen with like 15-foot ceilings. That would look ridiculous if you took your cabinets all the way to the ceiling on a 15-foot room, okay? I'm just saying, it doesn't always make sense for every home. And so just be aware of that. Just be aware. We don't need cabinets that we have to get an extension ladder to get into. And then the last piece of advice, which arguably I think is probably the most important, is to create a cohesive color palette throughout your home, but specifically throughout the main living areas. Obviously, bedrooms, an office, something like that, a bathroom, those you could maybe get a little bit more creative with if you have kids that have a specific color that they love or whatever your family's dynamic is. But for the majority of your living spaces, I would recommend picking 3 to 5 colors as your main focal color palette. This can be done through your wall color, through flooring, through your furniture, through textiles that you bring in, through curtains. This is not something where we're only talking about paint. In my home, my main color on the entire first floor, except for one room, is a warm white. That makes it actually really easy to create a color palette because white goes with everything, but you can do this with any color scheme that you love. And then I brought in greens, blues, and browns, and taupes. So my 5 colors are white, taupe, blue, green, and brown. And then a variation within those shades to keep it a little bit interesting and not have it fall flat. But you won't find in my home bright reds or bright yellows or oranges. Sometimes maybe through a floral bouquet, I might add a little pop of color here and there. But for the most part, it creates a really cohesive space when you're using the same colors in repetition throughout the house. Now I've given you 10 ways that you can upgrade the look of your home without a full remodel, without a full makeover. Most of them are pretty budget friendly. And so I hope that that communicated to you that if you have ever felt like your home is basic or builder grade, then it's really not about a full makeover. It's about intentionally adding in these different design elements over time. I have personally done all of these things in every home that we have ever renovated, and it is amazing what it does for your space when you're really intentional with these specific pieces. But I also just want to make sure that everybody out there is listening and hears me say, these are not things that you're going to fix in one weekend. This is a very slow, intentional design process to see what issues you have with your own home, if any, and if not, then this video is completely irrelevant to you, and that's great. Like, I'm so happy if you're content with your home. But if there are some things that you're like, oh, you know, I just want to step it up a notch, take the time to really identify what those problems are and then come up with the solutions that make sense for you. Now, here's a little teeny bonus. There are 3 specific things that do not make your home feel custom. That's the opposite of what I've been sharing in this video. Ignoring scale. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make, especially in furniture pieces. Scale and balance are a really important element of interior design, and so I would encourage you, if you feel like your room is out of scale, meaning some pieces are too big, some pieces are too small, maybe your area rug is tiny and you've got these oversized pieces of furniture around it, it doesn't look right. If it doesn't look right, it's probably out of scale or out of balance. I would encourage you to read up on that from an interior designer's perspective, and it will make your whole home feel more in line. Number 2 is matching everything perfectly. This especially, I would say, for furniture pieces. A lot of people think that their bed and their nightstand and their wardrobe all have to be from the same collection, but really that doesn't make it look more custom. It just makes it look like you shopped everything at one store. And so I would encourage you to mix and match your furniture specifically to be more in line with your personality rather than feeling siloed into one specific style. And then number 3 is just too much decor in general. If you love a maximalist home, which is just like everything is everywhere, then ignore this. Because some people love it and it doesn't overwhelm them, and the way that they've styled it doesn't look like clutter. But if you personally have struggled with your home feeling cluttered, it's probably because you just have too much stuff out. So I love to edit. I love to make a pile while I'm going through every room. One pile is to donate. One pile is to sell. One pile is to trash if it's broken or irreparable. And then one pile is to keep. And so if you go through a room by room, and just take the time to really say, Does this fit my style? Do I love this? Does it serve a purpose for my family? Then keep it. But if not, toss it in one of the other 3 piles. So I hope that this video has been helpful to you. I would love for you to subscribe if you would like more of these just kind of practical ways to create a beautiful home that you love. I would personally call my home kind of like a modern cottage, modern traditional. And so if you love the cottagecore look, but you don't love the grandma vibes that it can sometimes bring, hit up this video next, wherever I put it. It's gonna help you avoid some common cottagecore design mistakes so that you love your home just as much as I do. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week.